I still have the blazer, not because it was expensive, not because it changed my life in a single afternoon. I keep it because it was the first time someone with authority looked directly at a situation I had spent years trying to explain and said, without hesitation, I see what's happening. The interview was scheduled for a Thursday morning. 3 days earlier, I asked my parents if they could help me buy a suit, not a designer suit, not anything impressive, just something that fit. I had recently finished school and was interviewing for an entry-level position at a company most graduates in my field dreamed about joining. I had spent weeks preparing, researching the company, practicing answers, revising my resume. The suit was the one thing I couldn't manage. Money had always been tighter for me than for my brother. That sounds strange when people hear it. We grew up in the same house, but somehow there was always money for his sports fees, his car repairs, his graduation gifts. When I needed something, the conversation became a discussion about responsibility and sacrifice. My father didn't even look up from the television. Wear your brother's old suit. I told him it didn't fit, it'll be fine. My mother glanced at me. You don't deserve new things every time something important happens. The sentence landed with the dull familiarity of something I'd heard my entire life. Not those exact words, just the same message. Your needs are negotiable, his are not. The suit had been hanging in a closet for years. My brother was broader than me, taller than me. The sleeves swallowed my hands, the shoulders hung past my frame. I spent the night before the interview standing in front of a mirror with safety pins, trying to make failure look presentable. By morning, it looked slightly less ridiculous, only slightly. The company's headquarters occupied 3 floors of a downtown office building. I arrived 40 minutes early. The lobby was full of candidates. Everyone looked prepared, confident, professional. I sat quietly in a corner chair and tried not to move too much. Every adjustment threatened to reveal another pin. Every reflection reminded me how obvious everything looked. I remember thinking that maybe my parents were right. Maybe people could see worth immediately. Maybe mine simply wasn't there. A woman from Human Resources eventually appeared and began guiding candidates toward a conference room. I stood. One sleeve slipped lower. I pushed it back up. That was when someone spoke behind me, young man. I turned. The CEO was standing near the reception desk. I recognized him instantly from the company website. He wasn't smiling. His attention was fixed entirely on my jacket. For a second, I thought I had broken some dress code. He stepped closer. Would you come with me for a moment? Every candidate in the lobby watched me walk away. My stomach felt hollow. He led me down a hallway and into a private office. Then he opened a closet near the wall. Several company blazers hung inside. He removed one and handed it to me. Try this. I stared at him. I'm sorry. Try it on. I did. It fit surprisingly well, not perfectly, but well enough. I looked down at myself. For the first time that day, I stopped thinking about the safety pins. The CEO folded his arms. Then he said something I never expected. I know exactly who put you in that suit. The room went quiet. I couldn't think of a response. He shook his head slightly. My wife taught at your high school for years. I blinked. He continued. She's spoken about your family before. Not gossip, just concern. My chest tightened. She always said you were hardworking. She also said you spent a lot of time being treated like you mattered less than you actually do. I looked away, not because he was wrong, because hearing someone else say it felt overwhelming. He didn't ask for details. He didn't ask me to defend anyone. He simply nodded toward the blazer. Wear this during the interview. Then he added, after that, let your work speak for itself. That was it, no speech. No rescue, no miracle, just dignity. The interview lasted almost 2 hours. Nobody mentioned my clothes. Nobody compared me to my brother. Nobody asked whether I deserved to be there. They asked about projects, problem-solving goals, preparation. For the first time in a long time, I felt evaluated as an individual rather than a supporting character in someone else's story. 2 weeks later, I received the offer. The salary exceeded anything I had expected. Within a year, I moved into my own apartment. Within 3 years, I had paid off every student loan. The financial independence mattered. But not as much as I assumed it would. The real change happened slowly. I stopped seeking permission, stopped presenting accomplishments like evidence in a trial, stopped hoping every success would finally convince my parents to see me differently, because it didn't. When I told them about the promotion that came later, my father changed the subject. When I bought my first home, my mother asked how my brother was doing. The pattern remained. For a while that hurt. Then one day it didn't. Not because they changed, because I finally understood I wasn't waiting for a verdict anymore. The blazer still hangs in my closet. The company eventually told me to keep it. Every now and then I see it and remember that morning, the safety pins, the oversized sleeves, the certainty that everyone could see my shortcomings. What I remember most, though, is a simple moment in a quiet office. Someone looked at a situation I had spent years questioning and recognized it immediately, not with anger, not with pity, just clarity. Sometimes that is enough to change a life, not because it fixes the past, because it reminds you the past was never telling the truth about your worth.